This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey, it's Wednesday night, so it's time for another episode of Party Loaded. This is episode 14 for the 24th of February, and this, of course, is the podcast where we take a bunch of video games, chuck them together, add a dash of addictive personalities, and pull out a net sleep loss. So, let's talk about that. Tonight, I've got three people, the party crew, as per usual, to chat about games. We have Olly.
Hello, you've had too much caffeine, I can tell.
Maybe. We have Jam.
Why are you turning games into math, man? It hurts.
I think that it's because it's probably one of the things that Imogen can respond to tonight. She might be in that whole math study kind of mode.
Loves her math.
What? There's going to be maths?
You've got to here to get away
God,
from
I hope
math.
not. Hi, everybody.
No. I wouldn't want to add that to her evening. That wouldn't go down well.
No, please don't.
Yeah. How are you guys? It's been like a
Good.
whole 7 days since we did this.
Good.
All right. Well,
I have a new PC. It's all shiny.
Hey, well,
Yay.
shall we lead with that? Tell us about your new PC, because you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. You'd ordered it and it's finally arrived, and you had a bit of a
Yes.
mishap when you picked it up, didn't you?
It was great. The GPU, or graphics card for you laymen at home, was a bit busted, and so it wasn't outputting video. That was great.
Fun times.
So yeah, quick swap for a new one, which the guys were very happy with, considering it's like a $600 video card. So yeah, they were very happy to have a broken one floating around.
Yes. So when you buy a new PC, Ollie, are you a fairly detail-oriented shopper where you like to select everything individually and piece it together yourself, or are you happy to defer to those more knowledgeable to select those things for you?
I do a bit of both. I go, what's a really good system within my price range, and then I'll tweak with bits and pieces that I've researched.
Yeah. Kind of tinker with
Bits
it.
I actually took the most research was my monitor, my mouse, and my keyboard. Everything else was pretty self-explanatory.
Yep. Nice.
That's good.
Nice. All right. And sounds like you got to put it through its paces this week, which
Oh,
we'll
yes.
chat about in just a minute. So, all right, well, what have we all played this week? Let's kick it off with Imogen.
I like how he pretends
Waited
it's
with
random.
bated breath.
like
I know,
how he
I know.
I wasn't pretending it was random. I was just
Don't
trying
break
to
the
think of who we
fourth
wrote down
wall,
first.
guys. Looking through the wall. I was still studying this week. My exam is tomorrow, so excuse me if I fumble words because I cannot brain. But I did get a chance to play a couple of games in the last week. Armello featured, which was nice. We got a game in where nobody dropped out. Hooray!
It's like a first.
But it was only the three of us, so we still are yet to have a four-player game where we make it all the way through a whole game. But I won, so, that's memorable. I'm pretty sure that Armello as a game may prefer me as a player. I did have caught some very lucky breaks. Other than that, I played a little bit more of Firewatch until it got a bit too intense. Then I put it down to do some more study because I feel like I want to dedicate some time to actually finishing that game. And Luke, you finished it, didn't you?
I did.
So,
Yep.
So I want to, after tomorrow, I think I'll give it a shot on the weekend and finish it off when I can sort of dedicate some time to it, because I have a feeling it's going to be one of my favourite games this year. I'm really enjoying it. I had my cables turn up. Now, this is exciting. I didn't mention it last episode, but I've always mentioned that I was a big Super Nintendo fan when I was a kid, and that I've been on the search and the hunt for a replica system that was like the one that I played with when I was a kid.
I remember your squeals of delight at PAX when we got into that retro gaming area. That was a pitch and frequency which could shatter a dog's eardrum when you saw that thing.
I was very excited. I was excited to see the system, and it was just from miles away I could hear the Super Nintendo noises, and I hadn't realized until that exact point just how nostalgic that was for me and what memories that had brought back for me. So I was very excited, very happy when we got to play it. And ever since then, I've been on the hunt. And Olly, you've sent me lots of great links, but they were all the Famicom or Asian or American versions or redone ones, and not similar to the one that I used to play. Coincidentally, my younger brother said to me the other day that he had come across a box of things he hadn't unpacked since he'd moved, and in amongst those things was our original Super Nintendo from 1992 from the UK. So I got that last Wednesday. And picked it up, but of course it comes with SCART lead because it's from the United Kingdom. It doesn't come with the composite cables that they would have come with here, and there's no television made this decade that would take a SCART cable. So I've been waiting for a replacement to come, which came today, and I thought maybe I'd get some time in with it, but I plugged it all in, and unfortunately it does not turn on. Yeah. So now is the next stage of what I do next. Whether I look at getting someone to sort of see if it's repairable, whether it's as simple as me getting a new power supply for it, or maybe it's the system itself. I really would dearly love to spend the money to make sure that this is the Super Nintendo that I play, because it is that same system. And you can tell how old it is because it's from a time when my parents would smoke inside, so it's a nice
yellow tint
nice
on
nicotine, nice nicotine yellow tint on the outside of the Super Nintendo. So it holds so many feels. So in a way, it's probably a good thing that it didn't connect up today because I do have a lot of things to get done by the weekend.
I picked up a Super Nintendo controller a couple of times in the last year, and the thing that goes through my mind each time I do, and this is probably because at the time that I played it, my hands were so much smaller than they are now. I'm so scared I'm going to break the thing. The controllers feel so flimsy in your hands now. Yeah, exactly.
So incredibly flat.
You kind of feel like if you ever played a fighting game, like I'm sure I played Street Fighter 2 on the SNES at some point. Now I'd just be so scared of breaking the controller in half just from regular play.
Don't worry, Luke, you won't. My other half puts like her full body weight into those buttons when we're playing games on it. It is ridiculous how hard she mashes those buttons.
Yeah, in Mario Maker or to make those critical jumps, I can imagine those times. Just go, jump. So the saga continues. But so if anyone has any sort of secret knowledge as to maybe why it could be a common fault or an easy way to fix it, then that would be great. But otherwise, I'm going to have to go and find an expert somewhere. I also finally played a little bit more of Rise of the Tomb Raider and spent some quality time with my girl Lara. And it was a lot of fun. I was doing it just before I had some people over and sort of got into learning all of the things. So previously I'd played it and I'd spoken about it, and I'd only really kind of got to a point. I hadn't really been introduced to all of the new hunting systems and the resource systems and how that all worked. I'd only really sort of played the very basic area of it. And I was telling Jam about a story because I was learning how to hunt. And this is not spoilers for anybody, so you do learn to hunt very early on in the game. It's really interesting the way that you can craft lots of different things and the upgrades you can give to yourself, and it's really much more involved than the Tomb Raiders I've ever played because I haven't played the last 2 or 3 releases. So you get your bow and you can upgrade your bow with different things. And so I was running around, and that's when I realized, I'll hunt for materials and then try and sort of get these upgrades, because I'm more especially if I'm not in the mood to sort of progress the story, I'm more than happy just to poodle around an area and not do very much other than hunt and craft and try and get everything that I possibly can, documents and stuff. So I started doing some hunting, and I shot a bird and I got a feather, and there doesn't seem to be any eating mechanic that I can tell. And I thought that was a bit weird, but I guess it makes sense.
Maintains her figure.
She only applies berries and poultices for health, and other than that, she's on the feather only diet.
She exists on adrenaline. That's all.
So I was shooting, and I shot a bunny, and
You shot a
it gave
bunny?
me- Yeah, well,
You own
they
a
only
bunny.
give
How
you 3
could you?
options. They give you bunnies, birds, and deer, and that's it.
You got to
And
watch
so I was
out
just
on that bow. It's got a really good hair trigger.
Shut up.
Bunnies are incredibly biologically different to rabbits, so that joke is null and void. Sorry, hares. Oh, there we go. Well done, brain. Anyway, so I was hunting the deer, and everything else had taken 1 arrow so far. So I crafted a bunch of arrows, and I had in my sights sort of 2 deer. I fired 1 arrow into the first one and 1 arrow into the second one. And this is the point that I realized that deers take multiple shots to take down, because that makes sense from a realistic point of view. But the most horrific thing happened. So a mechanic, I guess, they've done in the game to help you track down the deer you shot with 1 arrow, because then they run off, is that it leaves a little trail of blood in the snow, which is handy. But then it also makes this awful noise as it's limping around, and he goes, and limps around, and it gets louder, and it will walk into areas where it echoes. So because I'd shot the 2, it was just surrounded by noises.
Did you learn nothing from Bambi? Did you learn nothing?
I had to have this most horrific 20 minutes trying to find both of them and kill them, because I couldn't. There was just blood trails everywhere and these horrific noises of them slowly dying. And it just... I thought I'd lost one entirely, and I thought, well, maybe it just sort of despawned or whatever, and then was doing something else. It was just below me going, So it's just the most horrific experience.
You are going to wake
of my
up
life.
sweating one night in the near future with this horrific deer ghost just standing over you going,
Kill me. Oh, it was awful. It was just the worst. So I don't appreciate that. I get it that it's a nice mechanic, but just make it move a little slower or something. I don't know. Or despawn it after a while. Don't just let it walk around. It walked into sort of an alcove and it echoed. It was just the
please,
worst.
Square Enix, enable this murder to be much more smooth. Just make it like butter.
Like, just really don't. It's hard enough as it is. If I stop playing games where I have to kill animals, then we're screwed. So anyway, so the rest of my game experience was quite fun, and you guys got to have a look at it as you came over. So I am excited, and I feel like it'll be a lot more time than your sort of traditional game, because I'm quite enjoying finding all the sort of secret documents and caches and learning lots of languages and all that sort of stuff.
That pirate ship frozen into the side of the mountain that I saw
It was a Byzantine
was pretty awesome.
galley.
All right.
Sorry, Byzantine gallery.
Yeah.
Frozen into the side. Yeah.
Still look pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. And the whole game's beautiful. So I will be playing more. But that was it for me.
Nice.
Horrific dying experiences and study. That has been my week.
Not to be too separated from one another, I suspect. Well, I had a week of getting stuff done. So I decided at the beginning of the week there was far too many shortcuts on my desktop, and I decided I'm going to have to finish some stuff. So I did, and I played the rest of Firewatch, which I enjoyed greatly. And Imogen, I completely agree with what you said before, that it's a game that you probably want to set aside some time to play properly and absorb and really enjoy. I'm
so caught up in the storyline. And the characters.
Yeah, the characters are great. So Henry and Delilah, the dialogue between the two of them, and I mean, we talked about it last time, and Olly, you were sort of saying how much you were enjoying it as well, just continues to get even better. And when some serious stuff goes down, and some of the panic that sort of exists between the characters and some of the real challenges that they have in terms of how they're going to proceed, like the conversational element of that was just fantastic. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. So how can I describe the end of this game without spoiling it? I'm going to be really careful here.
Don't.
No.
You're not good at this.
I'm gonna be very well behaved. All right. So all I'm going to say is that the game, as far as the plot, went in a direction that had a twist. I mean, I think everybody was expecting a twist of some sort, but they didn't go nearly as crazy as I thought they were going to go.
They didn't go full Shyamalan.
Yeah, they did. They didn't do that. Like the ending ended up
You were
being
asleep
a lot
the whole
more.
time.
Yeah, the ending ended up being a lot more straightforward, and I think probably true to the characters. And I think that in a way, that in itself was a twist because they were almost setting you up to think that something a lot more weird was going to happen.
I'm going to say this right now. I think you just spoiled it.
Well, no,
because my
You just spoiled it
expectations
for
now
me.
are just
Yeah.
different.
There's no way you
Because I'm
will
going to
be
go.
able to anticipate what's going to happen.
But I don't get to experience that now. Like, I don't get the whole, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, no, that's nice. That's kind of more realistic. I enjoyed that. No, now I have to experience it through Luke filter.
Luke's not allowed to non-spoiler or spoiler again.
All right,
Can I just say,
Banned.
let
You
me
are
put
banned.
let me put it to you this
going,
way.
the game ended. I don't think he could be any more vague.
Well, then he should just
a
not read
twist.
it.
I don't even want to know there's a twist.
Oh, look, I mean,
It goes back to our spoilers conversation, doesn't it?
yeah, look, it's really hard to know where to draw the line. But the thing that you guys need to remember too is this is through my eyes. Like, and I'm sure that Ollie would be the same too, because the two of us in particular, and I know this because we've had many conversations to this degree, where we think about game plots and stories in a different way, and I think we try and anticipate just about everything we possibly could. So when something happens that is different to our expectations, that in itself is almost what I just described.
Surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and in a way, all I'm saying is that because it didn't surprise, that in itself surprised me, if that makes sense. It's a weird kind of way to look at it, but
That
anyway.
is a very odd way. Because it was normal, I found it weird.
But it wasn't. Oh,
I think
man.
we should move
I really
on.
suck at. Yeah, I
Let's
suck
move
at
on.
We should
explaining.
move
Let's move on.
because I think you're going to make it worse.
All right.
Dig up, stupid.
All I'm going to say is that there's a bit of discussion out there as to whether the ending was satisfying or not. A number of people thought that it wasn't. A number of people thought that it was. There seems to be a bit of division on it. I found it very satisfying, but for reasons that I didn't expect. Okay.
Okay.
So, anyway, all right. So, the other thing that I finished off during the week, which actually took a considerable number of hours, was XCOM 2. So, that game is freaking hard.
I did warn you.
Oh man,
Did you not
Ollie, you're
believe
playing it
me?
on the harder difficulty level as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's interesting. I think one of the things that became really clear throughout the second half of the game was that it really punishes impatience really, really badly.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get into a mission that's taking a while, and some of the later ones tend to, because there's a lot of enemies that you need to deal with and a lot of different vectors where assaults can come from, and you got to cover yourself from just about every flank. If you get impatient, and sometimes you kind of get forced to because you are on a clock for various missions, the game just punishes you relentlessly. So, you know, if you stick yourself out a little bit too far when you're trying to creep up on an enemy position, and one of them spots you before you're ready, to cover everybody with Overwatch, you just get creamed. It is really difficult. But the missions sort of get a little bit samey, but some of the missions do have different ways of achieving victory. So, for example, if you need to shut off a communications signal, sometimes, there's different ways to do that. You can hack the device, you can destroy the device, you can force an enemy to do something near the device. There's a few different options there, which is really, really cool. But one thing that I didn't get until later on in the game is that the global sort of map and the way that the campaign plays out as opposed to the individual missions, where you've got like a global countdown timer before the aliens finish their big sort of world-ending project. That timer, I thought that the different sites that you have to sort of assault to bring that timer down, I thought that was the end game. As it turns out, it's not. There's basically like story missions that you need to complete in a certain order. You've got a bit of flexibility around the order, but there's some certain sort of plot-driven missions that you need to complete. Actually finishing all of those is what triggers the end game, as opposed to wiping out all of the alien bases.
Potential spoiled?
No. It's not a spoiler. It's
that's
literally
pretty
just
vague.
me reading the conditions of the game wrong. So
Okay.
yeah, it should have been a lot clearer, but I got just caught up in destroying stuff basically.
Luke,
So,
just
You just
clarify.
got caught up in his.
Did
Yeah.
you finish on rookie or veteran?
whatever the default mode is. So I think default's veteran.
Okay.
Because veteran's the one for people who've played XCOM before, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that's the one
Okay.
that I played on. Yeah. Probably one of the coolest things about that game for me was encountering all the different alien species throughout the later missions. There's some really, weird and wacky ones that sort of function in different ways, and you really have to change up your strategies to deal with them. And every time you beat a mission with one of those aliens in it, you basically swipe their body and you turn it into a research project, and autopsy them, and you're able to improve your tech somehow as a result of what you find out, which is really cool. So
genocide and exploitation sounds great.
Yeah, basically.
Sounds like humans.
Yeah, that's right. But the final mission was a bit of a challenge. It was a mission that really, once again,
Don't ruin
punishes.
this for me, Luke.
No, I'm not going to ruin it for you. But once again, it punishes impatience. It really badly does. So if you sort of take your time with it and do it sort of step by step, you will have a much better chance of success than my first attempt.
So, how many of the squad survived the final mission? Out of curiosity.
All right, so the final mission's kind of like a two-parter. The first part you have to take a really small squad in, and the second part you can take basically your full unit in. So I took a squad of 4 into the sort of penultimate scenario, and that squad of 4 was Jam. We had Dave, our good friend Dave, who was my sharpshooter. Jam's a ranger, just to sort of recap on that. I had Imogen was in there as well as my
Mimo 7
Grenadier.
Woo.
Yeah, Mimo 7. The most effective Mimo, because you actually lasted quite a few missions without getting killed that time. And the last one I took in, I wanted to take Olly into that mission, but unfortunately you were benched because you were injured. Who was it that I took in? Oh, Justin. So another friend of ours. So that team did very, very well, apart from Jamie getting shot in the face repeatedly and nearly dying.
Oops.
So, unfortunately, she had to sit out for the final mission. Yeah. But you did good. At least you were able to hit things, which is more than I can say for Dave.
You just called from the bench. Go team.
Oh, man. My sharpshooter in that penultimate mission had basically gone from an almost 100% hit rate every other mission leading up to that to just failing utterly. It was embarrassing, really, really
In the
bad.
chat was the best.
Oh, my God.
Abusing the actual person you had based your character off for things they had no control
I was sending
over.
you messages just saying, dude, what are you doing to me? Oh, no.
You could have a problem as well since your Grenadier wears glasses, but that could have been the reason why she's Mimo 7.
No, that's why you're the Grenadier. You don't need to hit stuff with precision shots. You just lob a grenade in the general area and then it's all good. So,
Okay, I have depth perception issues though, so we could end up blowing everyone up, but that's okay. We made it.
As long as you're not firing like a meter in front of you, you're generally good. So
Yeah. Okay. Good.
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, no, the last mission was really, really fun. Very challenging. I think it was a very worthy final mission in terms of the mechanics and how it played out in the story. And the game end was very satisfying. Like the cinematic and the sort of story wrap-up stuff, I was very happy with. I thought it was a definite good finale to the game. I honestly, I could go back in and play a bit more of it because you can kind of, continue leveling you guys up and unlocking more tech and equipment and that sort of thing. And one thing I haven't tried out yet, which I'm actually keen to, if you're up for it at some point, Ollie, is the 2-player versus mode. Because you can kind of play that out online, and it's a bit like a like a simulated tabletop miniatures game,
Cool.
which we both play, of course. So that could be something we could quite get into. So
Quite possibly.
yeah, give that a go at a later date. But aside from that, I think I'm done with XCOM 2. I am very happy with how that wrapped up. And good one to finish off last night on and clear the slate for a new week of gaming, including our monthly party game, which I've got to get some time in before we review next episode. So, yeah, that's me. All right, Ollie and Jam, what about you guys?
I also played. So my gaming has been divided between old computer and new computer. So old computer, I played some more XCOM. I got up to the Codex data mission, so I don't know how far that puts me into the game. That's not a spoiler. That's a mission title. Deal
Is
with
that
it.
the one where you need to use the skulljack?
Don't know. That's it's just coming up as my next mission is Codex data coordinates. I
Okay,
think it
cool.
is.
Well, I'm going to give you one piece of advice that's not a spoiler, but you'll thank me later for saying it. The Codex
Said Luke
stuff.
every time he gives us a spoiler.
don't do the Codex stuff too early. That's all I'm going to say, because it gets stupidly hard the more of
look.
those you complete.
I love being underleveled in gaming areas, as I played Secret World, have found out. So that's been great. I've been going into essentially level 10 areas as a level 8 and just working my way through somehow. Been good. So yes, with the new computer, I installed the Secret World, GTA, the Division Beta, Rocket League. I did play a tiny bit more Firewatch, and I think I might be up to a similar point to Imogen because it is getting a little bit dramatic.
I found that thing that you've said that I would find as well.
Yes.
Ooh, secrets. No spoilers.
It's very cute. So, GTA looks amazing. I played that for a whole 10 minutes and it looked glorious. Secret World now looks pretty cool as well. Rocket League, I actually played a decent amount of Rocket League, which was really fun with Jamie and a couple of our other peeps.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
I was not as terrible as I was expecting myself to be because I was trying
Not
to
if you
remember
play
how to
with
play.
me.
Yeah, it's all
It is a
relative, right?
comparison. It is all relative.
So if you actually put some points on the board, you're already ahead in that equation, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I did finish some games with a score of under 50. That was unfortunate, but that's all right.
I finished most of my games with a score of under 50. Oh, goddamn that game.
So the other one I tried was the Division Beta. So I played a little bit of that. I played maybe 2 and a bit hours, something like that. I got to level 6 in it. Didn't get to try any PvP, so I didn't go into the Dark Zone or anything. But that game has a lot of potential to be amazing. Like a lot.
Was
The
it?
end game stuff will be the biggest thing they'll need to obviously work on, but being a beta, I didn't expect to see a lot of it in there. But yeah, my biggest thing for it is the sheer world detail. So the world detail is phenomenal. The amount of just clutter and stuff is ridiculous. It's
Like
so good.
urban decay porn, like some of the areas in GTA kind of thing.
No, it's much
it's
more detailed than
better.
GTA. It's a whole step up from GTA. Like, so much. The cover system works really well. They give you what, essentially, the best way I can describe it is a predictive cover system. So, like, here's your next point of cover. This is the line you'll take to follow it. 2 gripes from me were all the baddies had the same frickin' skin, but again, it's a beta, so I can live with that. Well, the ones I versed anyway, Jamie might be like, oh, no, they don't, but the ones I versed did. And the UI is really invasive. Like, really. So it's a third-person one, and so the UI, like your health and all that, sits next to your character. Which I don't really like, but I can see why they did it. And the way that like mission lines track along the ground, it's a very AR, like augmented reality in-game sort of game. Because it's Tom Clancy, that's what they like doing. So like you'll pull up the map and it'll spread across the room floor, that sort of thing. And that's kind of cool, but I wish the UI was a little bit less invasive. Apart from that, the camera. The camera is probably one of the best third-person cameras I've come across. So, you know how sometimes you get the third-person camera and you'll have cover up on your right shoulder and the camera will just sort of squeeze in between your character and the cover? This one, it just smoothly flows to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Like, it is actually genuinely one of the best third-person cameras I've come across.
So it actually responds to your environment and changes position at that moment.
It's really nice and very smoothly as well. It's not just like, click, oh, there it goes. So that's one thing I noticed that was quite good. So yeah, will purchase the full game and I'm looking forward to see what they do with it.
Did you guys see the presentation at PAX a couple of years ago? The Division one?
No.
No.
Okay. I wonder how much it's differed because it's been in development for a while.
Quite a bit from what I've heard. There was a bit of buzz around the E3 presentation they did a little while back, but it's a typical thing for some of the Clancy games to when they demo it to final release, there being a massive disparity in graphical quality and smoothness of the gameplay. So.
Yeah, because that one was super secretive. Like, that was, like, tucked away in a corner behind a massive curtain, only, like, X number of showings a day. Like, it wasn't anything like the other sort of reveals that we've had.
I'm sure a lot of companies do, like, a much more polished version of the game for general spectacle when they, release information about it for the first time. I mean, it just makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to put your best foot forward to promote it and that sort of thing? But I think that with the Division, there's been a lot of chat about the disparity being so obvious compared to other games, so that it's kind of disappointing for a few people. But I don't know. I guess you're only talking about a very small audience here who got to see it. Most people haven't, so yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. Oh, well, should we launch into Jam's thoughts on Division 2, seeing as you're right off the back of each other? What did you experience?
I loved it. I'm sold. I'm going to be buying it. But based on what you were just saying, the detail that was visible in the very first E3 announcement, when no one had heard a word about the Division before, it is lacking. I'm disappointed that they weren't able to do the companion app for tablets so that you could have a friend zipping around in a little drone assisting you. They trashed that idea. And the detail, I think I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, that I was looking forward to seeing, like when you find a weapon, picking it up and looking at it and putting it in your backpack, that sort of thing. It's gone. It's very Borderlandish.
So you're saying being able to close car doors is not enough detail for you?
No, that's gorgeous. That's still there. It just hasn't gone to the extent that they showed in the video based on my experience with the open beta. But I know why. Like, it is impractical. Even, I think it may have actually got some backlash if they'd gone to that much detail with the animations, because I've already heard complaints from people I know who played that they were sick of the character having to crouch down to open every trunk. They just wanted to run around and loot as fast as humanly possible. I appreciate those little details, but the game more than makes up for it. What you said, Ollie, the environment, the way they've detailed this world, it's got this incredible post-apocalyptic feel. Like, the place is trashed, and there's vehicles everywhere, and you can use all of the little obstacles to your advantage if you're clever enough. It's just wonderful. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I got all the way up to level 8.
How many levels are there?
8 was the cap. And in Dark Zone, I don't know if there was a cap. I got to level 10 in Dark Zone, and some people I were with were 12. I think that may have been the cap. That was a surprising amount of fun. Like going through the outside Dark Zone, doing the story missions and getting distracted by little side quests and little random mobs that you encounter. That was really good. I like the cover mechanic. Ollie, I switched off those prompts that you were talking about, the predictive prompts, and found it much more enjoyable because there was less sort of instruction and busyness on my screen. And
I
it was
genuinely did not know you could turn them off.
Yeah, I figured it out by accident when I was going through the settings, and it was so much better. It just felt much more, it's so intuitive. You point your cursor at something and then hit the button, and your character will round the corner and run to it, or vault the object and run to it. It's really responsive in that way, and so much fun. So you can be really strategic in how you approach enemies. I'm interested in seeing what the crafting's going to be like, because that wasn't available for the beta. I really like the way you can mod guns, and the inventory system seems pretty neat from what I've seen of it. But oh my god, the Dark Zone. I had more fun than I expected to have. I went in with 2 friends, so we went in as a party, and the whole rogue mechanic, it makes it tricky. For those who don't know, so you enter as agents, and you're division agents, and you're running around together. If you attack another agent in a substantial way, you turn rogue. You get a little red skull above your head. Everyone in your vicinity knows you've gone rogue, and they'll get a reward and potentially any awesome loot you've picked up in the Dark Zone if they kill you. So it's a very quick way to get absolutely punished. And as a result, I didn't see many people going rogue, except by accident. One of the strategies people were using would be they'd wait until someone was attacking mobs from range, and then just run in front of the bullets. Or run into a grenade, and that would turn the person who shot those bullets rogue, and then they'd just flip on them, kill them, take their stuff. So that's a bit cheeky, and it would be nice if that could be avoided somehow, because sometimes you just can't keep track of who's about to, run in front of your crosshairs. It's difficult.
It's the same mechanic as in GTA.
Yes,
so that whole idea
to a
of,
degree.
your mental state is rising, and so what that it was attempting to do was sort of self-regulate the online play. So, and that happens all the time where you sort of blow other people up by accident, and then you get the wanted level, but that's because they run into your sticky bomb where you accidentally threw a grenade at them.
Yes.
It sounds almost like an automated bounty system.
It is, but it flips too quickly. 1 second, you're untouchable because if anyone touches you, they turn rogue.
Okay.
And they'll get smashed.
Oh, so
and
it's
the
not
next
like a build-up.
the next instant, if you fired a few bullets into another agent, bam, you're red, you're rogue. That's it. Anyone who kills you can steal some of your Dark Zone points. You'll lose some experience in the Dark Zone. In the Dark Zone, any loot you collect is considered contaminated. So you can collect up to 6 contaminated items at a time, and then you have to get them to an extraction point and attach them to a helicopter that's dropped a rope. So if you have any on you when you die, it sits there for anyone to pick up. So
Sounds
that's
like a
sort of
PvP area that discourages PvP almost.
Well, the balance is a little screwy at the moment, I think, and they also stated that they haven't populated that Dark Zone area as much as it would ordinarily be to try and encourage some PvP interactions from people who, didn't have enough things to shoot, I guess, probably to test some mechanics and some balancing. So I'm hoping to see some improvements there, but it felt so satisfying getting to the chopper with 6, mostly blue items. It follows the same coloured item hierarchy that most games do. And if the chopper gets away with them, like if you successfully get them onto the chopper, they essentially get taken away, decontaminated, and then they're available for you in your stash next time you go there to collect and
I
equip.
like that idea. Yeah.
It's clever. It's anything you pick up in there you can't automatically equip on the whole basis that it's contaminated. So I think it's a really neat thing, and I'm looking forward to see how it plays out in the bigger game. But, oh my gosh, an hour before the beta was up, because there wasn't going to be any continuity, I was just like, can we turn rogue? We just started ambushing people. We ran up to an extraction point and we were standing around all buddy. Everyone's circled this little zone waiting for the helicopter to come in, and we inched back a little bit and got our grenades ready. As soon as they all ran into that little point to attach to the rope, we just smashed them, and it was hilarious. And then we got killed, which was also kind of funny, but we ended up running back a few minutes later next time someone summoned a chopper, and I was like, I said out loud, on Mumble, I said, oh, I hope no one recognises my name. And then the next thing that comes over the game chat is, oh, Jams, I remember you. You killed me. I was like, oh, shit. So I was standing there. This guy had his gun trained on me, and he's just talking over the chat like, oh, you're back. And
it's a proximity chat, isn't it? Like, you can hear people when you get near them. Yeah.
He couldn't do anything because I was no longer rogue. I had died. My timer, you get a little timer when you turn rogue. And when that ticks down to 0, if you haven't done any other, rogue-like activities, you turn back into an agent. So he couldn't shoot me because that would turn him rogue, but he's watching me and he's like, I think you're going to try and kill us again when this chopper gets here. It was so funny. And then the last 20 minutes, everyone ran around killing each other. It was great.
Troll.
I think the temptation in that scenario would be my absolute undoing. There is no way that I would be able to last in the Dark Zone without wanting to pop a cap in someone.
I don't think I ever want to party up with you in the Dark Zone because you, as my teammate, would turn me rogue and I would be pissed. But there were no consequences because it was the end of the beta and there's nothing carrying over to the game.
Oh, so hang on, your whole team turns, not just you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not always. I couldn't figure out what the defining factors were because I'm pretty sure one time my brother went rogue and I did not. So I'm not 100%, but ordinarily I wouldn't do it. I'm not that kind of player. I feel so bad taking advantage of someone and destroying all their hard work just so that I could nick off with it. But because it was the end of the beta, we just
Everyone's going to reset
fun.
anyway.
But, but it was the end of the beta, so those people are like, man, I've only got 1 hour. I really want to see what this thing does. And they were going to get their things on the chopper and give it a go. And then along came Jamie.
It was funny.
You're a ruiner.
Yep.
That's
That's how
great.
you justify a murder. I mean, the next thing you know, you'll be going to the dark zone and hunting deer or something like that. So, yeah.
Don't, I feel bad enough.
No, I did not.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
will I enjoy playing this game?
I have no idea.
No. The answer is no.
Probably not.
Compared to what you've been doing this week, yes.
Well, you know, there is controller support, so you don't have to play with keyboard and mouse. I've played with both. I enjoyed both. I actually got used to keyboard and mouse, having not FPS'd with those before.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer mouse if the aiming is a capacity, because I'm shit at aiming on the Xbox controller.
I think you might really enjoy the cooperative component, like outside the dark zone. There seems to be the missions that you could do. The main missions you could revisit at increased difficulty for better loot drops, and the cooperative element, like you'd go in there together and one of us would have some, healing perks equipped or abilities. Another one would have the damage. You'd sort of, it helped if your party had complementary abilities to get you through it. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It's a shame you couldn't play the beta.
It is.
But you can come
I
over
didn't
my
realize it
place
was
and
so
try it
short.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might do that.
I was in the same boat too. Like I didn't realize it was ending up until it was just about to finish, because otherwise I would have jumped on and tried it out. But yeah,
That's why I only got 2 hours in.
yeah, no, that's fair. But I tell you what, it was a massive beta. It broke a whole bunch of new records. So
Yeah.
Ubisoft said that there was about 6.4 million players. And then on average, people were spending about 5 hours in the game during the beta. About a third of people tried out the Dark Zone, and almost half of those people actually went rogue at some point. So, they had a really successful beta. The only one that they've sort of compared it to in terms of size was actually the beta they did in the summer of 2014 for Destiny. And we all know how Destiny turned out, being a fairly large game in the scheme of
For
things.
better or for worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a big game on release. I don't think they've
Don't
done
pull a
themselves
Destiny
any.
on us. Don't do that.
I
Don't do it.
I don't think having. Well, this beta, it's too close to game release. There's already just a fantastic structure there, beautiful amount of detail. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be playing it day one.
Yep.
For sure. The rest of my week was kind of quiet. A little bit of GTA, a bit of Secret World. Rocket League. Oh my god, the Rocket Labs maps are so much fun. I've jumped on a couple of times in the past week. It's just fantastic.
What are the Rocket Labs maps? Are they a new style of play or just?
They're slightly different to your typical flat field goal at each end map. One of them is like a donut shape, and there's
That
one
one is
goal
so
zone.
annoying.
I know. There's one goal zone, but depending on which direction you approach it from, determines whose goal it is.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
You were telling me about
so
that.
if you go
That would be so hard.
clockwise, it's blue, and if you go anti-clockwise, it's orange. But you can drive through the goal zone. If you're attacking and they hit it away to away from your goal, you can turn around, go through the goal zone, and suddenly you're defending your own.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Wait,
You know, you're right.
I think I called them both your goals,
You
but
can
yes.
drive through.
It's great. There's another one which is a really big box, but it's got a ledge going down the two sides, left and right, which just makes the ball act a lot more unpredictably, and the walls are slightly curved too. And the third map, the
Center column.
floors rise to the sides, to the edges. And
No,
there's
that's the ledge one you're talking about.
no, there's like a dirt floored kind of map, and it just gradually, there's an incline towards each edge. You may not have seen it when we played. And there was a
No, I
fourth
didn't.
one where it's another box with a big goal zone, but there's like a pillar in the middle of each goal zone. It's just, it's really unusual. It just suddenly, the ball becomes less predictable, and the way everyone moves around. And I mean, I'm pretty rubbish, but last night I actually started being, moderately
Effective.
helpful. Yes. and pulled off a couple of neat things that were nearly on purpose. I'm kind of starting to get the hang of flying. I'm going roughly in the direction I intend to, and every now and then actually getting a good hit. But it's just a hilarious amount of fun for something you can pick up quickly and muck around in. So funny. So
It's really relevant, that Penny Arcade shirt, the Dare to Dream one with the Rocket League car.
Oh, and two of the people in particular that we play with, they've put so much time into it.
They are ridiculous.
I don't have to do much. If I just sit back, I can watch them like sailing and soaring through the air and twisting to hit it at that angle, at that point in time, to go into... It's just uncanny. So hopefully
They
one
are
day...
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my week.
Sweet. That's a bit of everything. Cool. All right, well, let's dive into some of the cool news for this week. So probably the big headline, which is following on from our recent VR chats, is we finally got the price revealed, or leaked, I should say, for the HTC Vive, which is the Steam VR system. And it turns out that it is going to retail for $799 US.
Damn.
So
100
God.
Australian for us.
1100 Australian, yeah.
Ish.
Bow.
That's just based off conversion. That's not based off inclusion of Australia tax.
No, that's
Correct.
exactly right. Yeah. So, I mean, to put that into perspective, the Oculus was shipping at $599, so it's $200 more than that. But there are some key differences. I mean, the Vive is going to be shipping with the two motion controllers, and as well as the system nature being such that there's a bit of extra sort of peripheral tech to be able to capture the environment stuff, which the Oculus...
base stations.
Exactly, yeah, which, set your room up essentially, which the Oculus doesn't do. So, yeah, the package is going to be bundled with two games. So you're going to have Job Simulator and Fantastic Contraption, which I don't know a lot about either of those. Job Simulator's been sort of around in other forms for a while, though, hasn't it? That doesn't
It has, yeah.
seem like a new game, yeah.
I don't know. Since this is a leak, I don't know. I'll reserve.
Well, they've all but confirmed the pricing, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I feel... Yeah, they confirmed the pricing, but everything else I just sort of will wait probably to make a judgment when it all comes out. It definitely seems better value than the Oculus at this stage with all of the extra bits it comes with, but...
Well, you'll still need a VR-capable machine to run it as well.
Correct. Well, it's the same with the Oculus. So.
Yeah. That's it. There is a handy little app available online where you can test your machine to see if it's VR ready for the Vive.
From Valve.
When you say little, 2 gig Steam download. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you given that one a go, Ollie, with your new machine?
Nope.
So, yeah. I mean, once again, it just indicates that if you want to be an early adopter, it's going to come at a fairly hefty price. So,
Well, that app as well, because Oculus has something similar, but as I understand it, the Oculus one is basically yes, it will run or no, it won't. Whereas this Valve one, the Steam version of it, will actually give you sort of indication if you did run VR, this is what it would run at, and it will suggest potential improvements, and so it will basically say you could run it, but it'll only be X FPS, or you could make these improvements, which we expect would take you up to X. So that's really handy, and I think that for maybe some people who tech savviness is a barrier to entry for VR, I think that's a smart move.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So it's interesting sort of looking at the fact that Vive were able to release this information, or I guess they haven't technically released it, it's kind of leaked, but they've had the benefit of being able to test the waters with how the Oculus announcement went before this has sort of taken place. And given the differences in the system and the extra peripherals and things like that, I don't think that the price difference seems unreasonable relative to the Oculus. And a lot of reports that I've sort of, been aware of in recent months sort of indicate that the Vive may be the better system in terms of experience based on how it works compared to the Oculus. But, I mean, it's going to be a bit subjective, and it'll all come down to the games library as well, of course. But
is it detailed how it leaked?
It was a Mobile World Congress announcement, I think, or it was leaked just before that announcement. There was supposed to be something going on in Barcelona, and the news got out early, I think. I don't know the exact details, but...
so they were going to announce it and it just got leaked a little bit before they actually did?
I believe that's the case, yep.
I don't know. As my conspiracy theory sort of paranoia is rising with this VR world after the accidental fluff last week in regards to the PSVR. I don't know. It seems like leaking information is the new marketing strategy for all of these platforms today.
Possibly. Well, I mean, it's kind of not a terrible way to go if you want to sort of test the waters and not commit to something in a way. So,
yeah.
What was the leak from Sony? I must have missed that one.
Well, the one we talked about last week with the CEO of GameSpot announcing the release date and then having to retract his comment.
Yeah, but no mention of
and say that they were very much looking forward to still being part of the release.
Oh, look, I think a lot of people are waiting to see what Sony does now with bated breath, because the key difference with them, of course, is that they're going to be marketing to a consumer-ready console that is priced a lot less than buying a new top-end PC.
I don't know. They're saying it's priced as a console, so I wouldn't put it. $800 is what I'm expecting
for the Sony
for Australian, let's say. Yeah.
See, if it's priced as a new console, though, I mean, how much does a PlayStation 4
$700,
go for?
$800? Yeah. Well, when they're released, they're with like everything that's required, then they can be that expensive. So, it used to be around the $500 mark, but now you have to wait a couple of months for them to come down to under $500. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's $700 to $900 at least, at the very least, Australian we're talking here as well.
Interesting.
So maybe that will be in the US, that'll be the priority system. But when that GameSpot CEO made the release, the comments that have been made is that it will be priced as a console.
All right, well, I'm going to give you my prediction, and I'm going to call it now, all right?
You're going to call it?
I'm going to call it. I'm going to put the stamp down, take note of the time.
The Olly approved stamp.
The Olly approved stamp. I'm going to call it. All right. So in US dollars terms, Oculus is shipped at pre-order for $599. The Vive has gone for $799. I think that the Sony VR in US dollars will go for $550. That's my prediction.
Oh, really?
I think it's going to be less than the Oculus. Not by much, but I think it's going to be less.
I reckon if you adjusted that to $599, you'd be on the money, because they always want to do that closer to the 100 mark.
Correct.
Maybe. We'll see. We will see.
I think $599 is more realistic, but I'm not calling it, not just yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could potentially go the same as the Oculus and still be, sitting at a beneficial position because of the lack of expense required for a new PC compared to a console. So,
I don't know, maybe it's the study talking, but I don't think that's a smart strategy for them, because even though it is different entirely in terms of the tech required, it would start putting it in a position to be compared to the Oculus, and I don't think they'd want to be doing that. So they'll look for a price difference as well. Maybe it'll be more expensive, and they'll be able to justify why, because they have the benefit of releasing, not being first to market. So
yeah.
Wow, too much study for me. Look, something did go in my brain.
Cool. All right, well, let's move on to some other news. So the DICE Awards, which we mentioned briefly last week, have now taken place, and there was a lot of fun stuff that happened during the event. So the DICE Award winners were announced, of course, and without going through every single category, just some headliners. The big winner for Game of the Year was actually Fallout 4, which was interesting.
By that.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, they picked up a few awards. They also got Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction. Fallout Shelter, just on the Fallout topic, got Mobile Game of the Year. Not
surprised.
Yeah. And they also got, for Fallout 4, Role-Playing or Massively Multiplayer Game of the Year. Picked up a few recognitions there.
Interesting. Maybe just needed a bit more time after the VGAs. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, a lot of this, from my understanding of the event, was sort of looking at it from creative direction and very much from the designer's perspectives too.
Creative direction, it's not to sound rude, and this will sound rude, and I don't care. It is the same formula as New Vegas.
Yeah.
It's literally just in a different map.
I don't disagree with you, but...
That's not a bad thing, but it's not exactly innovative design or anything.
No, I agree.
Or new game direction.
I agree. But I mean, there's a different kind of audience looking at these awards to what we would expect at, say, the Game Awards. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that means in reality in terms of the selection process and how many people are involved compared to the Game Awards. Because one thing that a lot of these award sort of shows or processes have in common is a complete lack of transparency about how the nitty-gritty decision-making takes place.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Because the winner of the action game of the year was Star Wars Battlefront. I'm sorry, no. No, it's a great
got no
fun
solo
game.
mission. Yeah.
It's a good fun game. I like the game, but it is no Just Cause 3. No way.
Well, another big winner that took out a number of categories was Ori and the Blind Forest, taking out Outstanding Achievement in Animation, Outstanding
that's
Achievement
fair.
in
Damn
Art
straight.
Direction, and also Original Music Composition, Outstanding Achievement, which was cool. One that stuck out to me is under the... where is it? The Strategy Simulation Game of the Year, which is probably a bad category for this one to sit in, but I don't think it really fits well into any of the others. Heroes of the Storm took that one out. So
Strategy simulation.
yeah, well, I mean, I guess there's no MOBA category because what would you have in that category? Be the same games every single time.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they don't churn them out. They just refresh the content.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that one took that out. But it's good to see it get some recognition. I mean, it's not often you hear Heroes of the Storm sort of talked about in a sense of winning, awards up against some of the other big titles of its nature that are out. So
Rocket League got
Blizzard
Online
doesn't-
Gameplay Award.
yeah,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Blizzard doesn't
Very
traditionally
polished.
win a lot of awards in this kind of space, so that'll be good for them.
yeah. So there you go. Other stuff from the DICE Awards. There was a big chat by Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, and they sort of talked about their the different sort of styles in narrative and game design and that kind of thing, which was a really interesting video. You can check that out online.
Those two are so in love.
Oh man, they've got some sort of bromance going on for sure, which
They
is
have
good.
a serious bromance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for all of us because that means they'll probably produce some cool shit down the
Make
track.
game babies already.
Yeah, exactly. Kojima talked a little bit more about the work he's doing on the new Sony title and saying it's going to be quite involved and possibly a bit bigger than we were led to believe initially, which is kind of cool.
Involved, like as in another form of reality, potentially virtual.
Who knows? I had this mad moment during the week where for some odd reason I thought, hey, are they getting Kojima to work on the new Titanfall? No, that can't be true. No way. There's no way he would do that.
You wish.
Yeah, but no, nope. And
Might be good then.
He was inducted in the Hall of Fame as well, which is pretty cool. Nice little call out.
He's had an interesting couple of years.
Oh, he has. Oh, did you see the thing about the award that sort of took place at DICE for Metal Gear Solid 5 picked up the award for, let me just find it. It was the, not action game.
Most inappropriately dressed female character award.
No, Adventure Game of the Year. So Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain took out Adventure Game of the Year. Now, Konami didn't actually send anyone to the DICE Awards to represent them, so there was no one from Konami there to accept the award. And Kojima actually said that he didn't want to accept the award for it. And, presumably that's part of the fallout from the various.
Presumably, that's part of his legal agreement that he signed with Konami,
Probably
and that he
like
can't
that.
represent their studio. So,
Or it could be that in terms of his pleasure at receiving an award like that, because of things that have happened at the other award presentations, maybe the well has been poisoned somewhat, and he just doesn't want to continue to go back to that. But so nobody accepted it. So the organisation actually putting on the show, they accepted it on behalf of Konami, which is just a weird situation.
so awkward.
Yeah, really bizarre. But I don't know. I think that saga hopefully has finally sort of come to an end now, and we can move on to the next stage, which is Kojima producing cool stuff. So
Is that your pet name for him?
yeah, that's when we go out and buy nightwear together. We buy some pajamas. So yeah. Cool. All right. Halo 5. Talk about Halo 5, guys. What's going on with that?
Yes,
There's
Halo
new stuff.
5, new Hammerstorm content. They live streamed earlier today. The contents should be live by the time we publish this. Is that right? Yes.
Should be.
Yes. It's a free update. They're bringing in a bunch of cool stuff. I might actually be jumping on Halo 5 after we finish here. Yeah, Griffball.
So excited for
Gravity
Griffball.
hammers and
Can't wait.
Good stuff. There's a new map in Arena, a couple new game types, including Griffball. new armor and bits and pieces. Yeah, it looks neat. I haven't watched the live stream, but I think I'm going to jump on after this.
Take me to
Yeah, the
update
fifth floor
that.
looks interesting. I watched a video on it.
Yeah.
Looks kind of cute.
Fun.
I'll dedicate some time to that this weekend, Jam. We can
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're on.
We'll smash
Your
it.
homework for the weekend.
I have an
Yeah, get
Xbox
your
One now.
get
I
some
should
girl
probably
gaming
buy
in.
this game at some point.
That would
You really
be neat.
should. You're not really an Xbox owner if you don't.
No, that's well, see, I'm an Xbox owner, and I haven't actually cracked the seal on the box and plugged it in yet. So
Oh, that's
really
disappointing.
depressing.
You are ridiculous.
I
First
know.
world problems, Luke. Oh, I'm so
making a
busy. I
third
can't even
Hearthstone
open
account.
my Xbox One. Oh.
It's under all the other Xboxes I own. Oh, God.
Look, I've
My
been
life
just
is
waiting
so
for
hard.
a particular console exclusive title to really grab my attention.
You mean like Halo?
You mean like Halo 5?
True.
Halo, I'm pretty sure is an exclusive last time I checked.
Yeah.
And
I think
probably
it might
will
be.
for
Funny
quite
that.
some
Just a
time to
little
come.
game called Halo.
Yeah. Made by a little indie development company called Microsoft.
Those guys are doing so well. I'm so proud.
Yeah, Bill Gates is a real up-and-comer.
Funny. All right. Well, moving right along. Other cool game news. Is anyone besides me, out of all of us? Oh no, Jam, you got one. Own a 3DS.
No.
No, you've just got the original DS, don't you?
Old school DS.
All right.
Which I haven't played.
I like
forever.
amiibos.
You like amiibos? All right. Well, you might be into this one then. Who has played and loved the original Mega Man games?
My hand's up in the air, just
Yep.
in case no one can see it.
Way back. All right. Cool.
Just in case.
So the Mega Man Legacy collection is basically coming out on 3DS. And basically, it's the first 6 Mega Man games. So not counting the later released Mega Man X series, which is where Sigma becomes the main villain instead of Dr. Wily by memory. Basically that's coming out, and basically
cool.
you'll be able to get a 3DS version of the game with additional content in what they're calling the museum, which is high quality scans of all of the old box covers and cartridges and manuals and that sort of stuff. And if you buy the collector's edition, or if you have a Mega Man amiibo, you can actually unlock additional features too. And there's a gold Mega Man Amiibo.
Amigo!
Hello, friend.
Out.
That's what they're sold as in Mexico.
Yeah. So I'm real tempted to get this gold amiibo. I don't own a single amiibo, but this thing looks awesome. It looks like a really
Yeah,
cool
it does
little
look
retro
really cool.
collectible. So, yeah. And it's going to be retailing. The standard edition will be $30 US. Basically coming out real soon. So, looking
When you get
forward
to
to
the
that.
collector one with the gold amiibo, like an extra 20, I should say.
Yeah, if you want to get that one. I'm tempted.
If the amiibo gets released separately, I'll pick it up. If not, well, then there's literally no point.
Yeah. Mega Man is just cool. It's just super
He is.
cool. So, yeah, looking forward to diving in and playing that again. I really wish they would make a new Mega Man game, and I not that one that was kickstarted, the Mighty Number 9 or whatever it was called. Similar but different. But anyway. Now, Jay and Silent Bob video game apparently is coming out. So Kevin Smith has been working with, what's the name of the company?
Interrobang.
Interrobang. The game itself is called Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. So, the Jay and Silent Bob, of course, are the viewer skew characters from all of the Kevin Smith sort of movies. They're probably featured most predominantly in Dogma, if memory serves.
Clerks?
I know they're from Clerks, but in terms of them, being, the duo that's involved with the...
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've probably got the biggest amount of screen time in Dogma, if I'm thinking back. That's when Blunt Man
maybe.
and Chronic were sort of introduced as characters. They're sort of superhero alter egos, which I'm assuming will play a part in the game, given that it's called Chronic Blunt Punch. But I could be wrong. Could just be,
Depends who owns the rights to that, doesn't it?
That is true. That is true. So, and I'm assuming that Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes have probably done a bunch of the voice work for it, because they generally get involved in doing all that sort of stuff, and they're still frequently collaborating. Often on podcast and stage show sort of presentations. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a nice sort of team up. The guy who played Elias in Clerks 2 was sort of integral to bringing the whole thing together as well and getting it all kicked off. So it's going to be, for them, they build their network, and their network is what brings them, luck. And it's going to be on, it's on the FIG crowdfunding platform, which is the same one that funded Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
With Double Fine. So they're at 60,000 or 400,000 at the moment with 30 odd days to go.
And it's only just launched, so they've got plenty of time to make that up.
Oh, man, there is a whole bunch of people out there who will just throw money at this. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been some successful ones that have been crowdfunded recently. The Psychonauts sequel ended up getting about
3.8 million.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yep. I was part of that 3.8 million.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I don't
like
understand this,
Psychonauts.
but I understand that you can get sort of accredited and unaccredited options with the FIG platform, which is something I'm not sort of well known. But so majority of that sort of 3.8. Not majority at all. A third of that came from actual investments, and then the rest was just people like Olly who wanted the rewards.
I want games.
Yeah.
Back again.
Whereas other people just want the money out, please.
Yeah, that's it. No, I mean, it's interesting. No idea how the quality will be, but I think for a lot of people it doesn't really matter too much. They just want to be part of a new Jay and Silent Bob, piece of stuff.
I'm thinking South Park esque.
Stick of Truth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Stick of Truth got rave reviews. That's a game that I've actually been playing.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all it's going to take is for this to be true to Jay and Silent Bob and have all of their same tropes and maybe a couple of sort of old references and things. And the Interrobang guys are big fans. So it's definitely going to have that element. And so like the South Park Stick of Truth, I think it's going to be a big winner. And it's co-op. So, I'll play it.
Can't be worse than Street Fighter 5, right?
Oh, dear.
Shots fired. Yeah. That game's been having a great couple of weeks. Yeah. Nice.
Well, man.
Last on the list, we'll talk a little bit of Twitch for just a minute. So who here watches Twitch? Anyone?
Me.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Putting my hands in the air.
All right, so Twitch has a bunch of features sort of being added on a regular basis at the moment. The most recent of which has been announced as a chat replay feature for any saved VODs on Twitch. Now, I saw this announcement, I thought that's actually something potentially pretty big for Twitch because a lot of people have been asking for that for a while. And then I thought a little bit more about it and I thought, I really don't want to read all of that vitriol a second time.
No, and it's so fast. Like anything that I watch on Twitch, especially if it's somewhat highly subscribed to, there is no way that you can follow that chat and watch what you're watching. It seems like a really odd thing that people want. I mean, the thing is some streams, not a lot of the streams that I watch, but a lot of the streams will respond to chat. So I can think that people who are going to watch the archived sort of vision and the recorded vision also want to see the chat so they understand that sort of conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll make it easier for streamers. They won't have to say so-and-so said this and in response I say X. It'll just be easy for people to see what's going on.
Usually the responses are in the video though. So
no, I mean, like, so if the guy, someone's streaming and they sort of go, oh, I see you guys in the chat are talking about, X, and then they'll respond to it. Whereas sometimes they'll say, oh, that was funny, so-and-so, but they won't say why.
Yeah.
And so unless you're watching it live, you don't get an understanding of what that interaction was.
You're right, though. Like, especially on some of the popular streams, like the rate at which that chat window just rockets down. You can't follow it.
I watch Critical Role, which is not video games. It's 5th edition D&D, but the rate at which that moves is insane. I have ultimate respect for chat room mods because their ability to read, mod, change, make announcements and respond to what's happening whilst they're doing the stream are just, those people have reflexes that is superhuman.
I would love a automated mod to, whenever I'm on Twitch, just edit out, just mute all of the posts that include that freaking kappa emoji. I'm just sick of saying that.
Well, Critical Role have their own emojis on the Geek and Sundry Twitch, and they get spammed quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, apparently with this replay feature, moderators are going to have the ability to sort of continue moderating even after the fact and removing stuff that they don't want to have shown on the replay, which is interesting, but I don't know who's actually got the time to fix that.
Feature, but it's not necessary, I don't think.
Yeah.
There'll be things that they necessarily won't catch, or subscriber-only material that depending on, so sometimes they'll only have archived Twitch vision available immediately to subscribers and then eventually to the rest. So I don't know, maybe they'll want to monitor what goes on there.
Maybe just a fail-safe more than anything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to our tip-ock of the week. we're going to talk about completionists. So the art
I'm
of
just
completing
gonna
games.
do something else for the next 20 minutes while you guys talk about something I don't do.
Well, no, Imogen, because
That's a valid, constructive comment to make too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, exactly. We're going to be talking about people who are completionists and people who aren't, and for whatever reasons, which definitely includes you, miss. So, all right, let's kick off with that first. So, completionists. Do we consider ourselves to be completionists? So, with our own understanding of what that means, do you think you are one? And if so, why or why not? So, Imogen, do you want to start? Why do you think that you are, and I'm going to take a wild guess here, not a completionist?
Why do I think I'm not? This is
Yeah.
going to go deep.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing games with people, and a lot of times that means that game is not something that you necessarily complete. It's a sort of log on, play for a bit. Having said that, I have hit level caps, I have completed games, but it's not necessary. I'm more than happy to sort of say, oh, I remember that game I played, I haven't played it in a while. Good example, Fallout 4. Eventually I'll go back to it. I'm not bothered that I haven't finished it. Same with Ori. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit more... I'm happy to go with the flow in terms of if, we're playing a new game and I haven't finished something else, I'm not going to sit back and play the other game while everyone else has fun doing something else. It's FOMO. That's what it is.
Yep.
I've just prattled myself into a conclusion. I have a fear of missing out. I have FOMO. So I will not complete games so that we can play other games. There we go.
That's funny, though, because
Are you
FOMO
happy
could...
now that you've broken
Yeah, that could point in either direction, though, because you could have a fear of missing out in terms of the opportunity cost of playing other games, but you can also have the fear of missing out of not actually getting to the good stuff within the games that you do play.
Well, with a spoiler friend like you, Luke, you tell me the ending of all games anyway, so...
That is true.
Zing
such a
points
privilege.
for me. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to Jam, and I'm going to take a wild guess here because I do know a little bit about what Jam tends to do when it comes to stories in particular, and I don't imagine a world in which you start a book and don't finish it. So I'm going to guess that you're at least part completionist.
Well, are we talking about
Definitely-
books? Because that's not true for books at all. Just games.
I am definitely towards the completionist end of the spectrum. I can't quite pinpoint what it is about different games that has me going for 100% or not, but there are definitely those that stand out that I have to do as much as I humanly possibly can. Just usually it's because I'm enjoying the game for whatever reason to some extraordinary degree that I don't want it to finish. Examples would be Fallout 4. I have not played enough of.
Yeah.
But I remember, oh my gosh, Fallout 3, the time I spent in the wasteland. So much fun. I want to see, and Skyrim, similarly, every nook and cranny. When the environment's built really well, Far Cry 3, for example, and I know that there's little rewards hidden around that environment, I get immediately distracted from the main missions. I want to go and look around every corner, under every rock. If there's a cave, I'll turn left, I'll go for a while, I'll realise, wait a minute, this is leading me towards the exit. I'll go back, I'll go right, I'll get to a dead end and go, oh, no, it's not, turn around, go back. Like, I don't want to miss anything. I want to pick up every piece of loot just because I'm having so much fun seeing what the creators have hidden around the place.
So that's pretty much sounding like a hard yes.
It's certain games.
Yeah, it's
Others I will do for the story and the dialogue. For example, Mass Effect. I will play through the game, having every possible conversation I can have, and then I will play through it again and go renegade so that I can have every other conversation with different outcomes and different funny jokes and reactions, just because it's beautifully written, well written, and I want to experience every little moment, all of that amazing voice acting and that storyboarding that must have been insane. Just so much work, such a good story, and I get attached to the characters. And then there's other ones that I'm just I have fun and I just find, I want to do this and that, and I don't normally go for Xbox games, there aren't many I've 100%ed for achievements. I know Mass Effect was one of them, one of the few. But I tend to do okay, although I've found in the last couple of years not as good. There's just so much good content, and also having begun to play so much with friends and us jumping between games, and typically games that don't particularly have a finish, like Imogen mentioned.
MMOs being a good example.
Yeah, that's taking up more of my time. But yeah, when I get the new Tomb Raider, I will be playing that until I've found everything I can possibly find.
Until you found all the deer that you shot once.
So yeah, it's not a drive to get 100%. It's about how much the game captures and pulls me into that world, and holds me there usually.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's me.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a guess at where I think Ollie sits on the spectrum, and you can correct me how you see fit. So I'm going to guess that you are kind of not really motivated by completing games, but by habit tend to do it anyway. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's for the same reason I'll even sit down and start reading a book. And even if it's a terrible book, I'll generally finish it. Or I'll give a show my recommended amount of time, which for me is generally 5 episodes. If a show hasn't got me by episode 5, well, then I ditch it.
Yep.
So for most computer games, I will finish it. Not so much out of obligation, but I am a very picky video gamer now in my rickety old age. I'm not very old.
Oh, don't, Ollie. You're the youngest one here. I think it's different as well when you talk about video games. Like, I have a different attitude to books than I do to video games, so I don't think it's true that it's the same. There is not a single book I have not finished if I started reading it.
So for me, it's certain video games, and Jamie mentioned the Mass Effect series, and for me, that's a series that's very similar in that regards. In that one, I went around and did as much as possible because I love the universe of the games, whereas, for example, Fallout 4, I love the universe of that game to bits as well, but I will not 100% complete it. So I've done the main quest, and I've done a fairly large chunk of the map, just, by proximity of where you travel and the occasional odd wander through, but I will not 100% complete that. There will be areas of the map that people will mention. I'll be like, oh, where's that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, it really depends on the game, on how much it drags me in. A great example of that is the Stalker games, the Shadow of Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat. Those games I have 100% completed because I absolutely adore them to bits. But then I'll have other games which I really like that I won't 100%. And then there's some games that, like Ori and the Blind Forest as a good example. Enjoyed the game, really loved it, finished it, great game, but I did bugger all extra exploring. It was literally, I'm going here, alright, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
The end. Oh, there's a cool thing within easy reach, alright, I'll grab it, then I'll keep going. But I did not go out of my way to explore stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
For me, it's very game dependent. It just depends on the game.
Yeah, I think I would definitely call myself a completionist, but I would echo your
Shocking
thoughts
twist.
around. Yeah, I would echo
We're
your
all
thoughts around
surprised.
depending on the game. Yeah. Well, for me, there's some games that don't fit clearly into the can complete this outright mold, and online multiplayer games are usually the ones that sort of fit into that. And to give some examples, like Heroes of the Storm, would I consider there to be a way to complete that? In my mind, I would probably set myself a goal when I start playing it and then work towards completing that as opposed to completing the game in its entirety. And for Heroes, that would probably be getting to level 30, just as the sort of, main goal that I'd want to achieve. And, I play a bunch of those games where there's not really any particular end goal. GTA Online's another good one. I think, you could probably set yourself a level cap goal to complete that. But I don't know. Again, that's a massively broad game. You could just keep playing that forever if you wanted to.
Can I add on to this, Luke?
Yeah.
I completely agree with that point that there are a lot more games now which don't have a definitive, completed
Yeah. And I mean,
state.
It's funny talking about Imogen's sort of SNES as well, like going back to the days when we were playing Super Nintendo games. games were much simpler back then. Like they pretty much always had some sort of endpoint
Back
where you
in
completed
my
it.
day.
Yeah, they had an endpoint. They had maybe a few secret rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they were eternal in building in complexity and difficulty until you died.
Correct.
Yeah,
It was usually one or the other, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, these days there's stacks that you just would never really complete.
And that's not a bad thing. It changes the whole completionist angle a lot.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
you get
exactly.
100%.
I'm a completionist
yeah.
in GTA. I've got all the achievements, but there's no level cap the last time I checked. So
I mentioned MMOs as well, and I guess that can be true or false in certain MMOs depending on what the main goals are of the game or even expansions that they add on. And using World of Warcraft as an example, I think a lot of people would consider completing World of Warcraft to be hitting the level cap for each expansion, or getting the top
That's
level
fair.
gear for each expansion, or finishing the main story quest missions for that expansion. And if we're talking in those terms, then I have completed the game for World of Warcraft up until the end of Legends of Draenor, because I've hit level cap, I've done all the story missions, and I've got pretty much the top end raid gear. But I mean, I would never consider that game complete because the game's going to always have stuff added to it. It's an ongoing living world, so you kind of just hit the reset button every time something gets added, which is interesting. So
Well, it really depends what you consider complete. I mean, you could hit the level cap and not have finished all of the story missions necessarily, and certainly not have, the best raid gear or whatever. And I guess people are going to eternally start, chasing different things. So the difference between, my Super Nintendo days and games now is a lot of different items make up the completion of a game. Like, it's not just I finished the story. You could finish the story of a game. I think I finished a game a couple of years ago. I can't remember what it was. And I finished saw the end scene and the whole lot. It was only 82% complete.
yeah, yep.
So there's a whole 18% in there, which I don't know what that was.
Yep.
And felt like I'd played the game to its conclusion. Lots of different things to make games replayable these days, which makes completing it hard.
I think it's a really good question. We've probably all got different sort of levels of tolerance on that as well. So, I mean, what would each of us consider to be actually completing a game? So, and this would be thinking about things like side quests. Do you have to complete all the side quests? Achievements, do you need to get all the achievements? Collectibles, do you want to go, whole hog and get everything there is to get in the game? Exploring, every area of a game, like in terms of covering the map and every sort of area that you can interact in, that sort of stuff. Is a game considered complete if you only complete it on like a normal difficulty mode? Do you have to play it on the highest level of difficulty to complete it?
all right.
Yeah.
I would say this will depend entirely on how OCD you are as a completionist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you will have those people, and especially, I think this is more possibly for console players, especially Xbox owners. This is not a dig, by the way. This is just a way it is with the setup for the achievements. So you can go, okay, I've completed Halo 5, I've gotten all the achievements, and a lot of those achievements will require you to finish the game on the hardest difficulty setting, which you can only unlock through multiple playthroughs. Mm-hmm. So, and that's fair. That I would go, yep, you've completed it on Xbox One. That is a completed game. You've maxed out your gamer score on it. Grats. If someone goes
gamer score.
Sorry?
I said exactly. For Xbox and for that system, the way that they denote finished is gamer score.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Like, for that, it works. If you take an MMO like Secret World or World of Warcraft or anything like that, you can't really say, I've completed it, unless you have literally done every freaking side quest. And even then, have you got all the gear?
You can't, though.
Maybe not. And it's physically impossible almost.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
I mean, because there's different starting areas, there's different weird random fishing quests and cooking quests. There is absolutely no way in an MMO, unless you would spend just an extraordinary amount of time. I'm sure there's a very small amount of people who've done everything
people.
possible in World of
Two
Warcraft.
people, in fact. It was a news item over the last couple of weeks. There are 2 people who have actually completed every achievement in World of Warcraft.
Is that both
That's
sides?
insane.
What's that, sorry?
Is that both sides?
Yeah,
Alliance
I imagine
and
it's every
Horde?
achievement.
That's a good
It would have
question,
to be,
actually.
surely.
Because the question would come, I have seen some people attempt to, do both, and it can't be. It can't be possible. You won't be able to get quests as an alliance, as a horde.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. The game is not, if you're that OCD about it, then you're going to have to play a horde character and an alliance character all the way through to completion and visit all of the different starting areas and do all of those as well.
Interesting. Well, you guys keep talking, and I'll Oh, hang on. I found it.
Yeah.
So the first player to unlock all 2,057 of World of Warcraft's achievements.
Fucking hell.
Holy
2,057.
Lord.
So
Oh, achievements.
really
It did the
difficult ones in there
achievements.
as well.
Okay.
Won't just be like, you have collected 500 bear bots. There'll be some hard ones in there. Like,
well, that's unlocking every
ridiculous
single
things.
achievement that exists in the game, which is 2,057 and an extra 205 of the 300 odd feats of strength unlocked he got. So,
Wow. So that's
yeah.
in both sides.
there's a shot of his BattleNet profile, which basically shows the completion bars for each of the different types of quests. So you got general, you got PvP, reputation, pet battles, scenarios, world events, all that sort of stuff, and every single bar 100%ed. So
That's
Interesting. I thought
insane.
some bars
Wow.
on reputation went down if your reputation went up. Anyway, getting way too involved. That's amazing. That's
Yeah, that is
not
insane.
a lot of life. That's a lot of World of Warcraft.
yeah, it took him around 700 days apparently.
Oh my
Far
gosh.
Jeez.
Yep.
Over
that's
2
nuts.
years. No, I'm incorrect. I can't do maths. 2 years. Go,
I don't know, it would
Imogen.
have taken him over 2 years because he's not playing that 24 hours a day
True, true.
the whole year. And if he is,
Yeah.
good lord, that's insane.
I knew
that's
my
not
maths was
possible.
right initially. I shouldn't have second guessed myself.
But yeah, I think back to the completion thing, especially PC games, they don't often have a completion thing. Like some do, like I'll use Ori and the Blind Forest because that's a recent one for me. That had an actual percentile. You've gotten 30 of these 50 collectibles, 10 of these secret locations, and whatever. And that gives you a hard percentile. Whereas a game like, what's the one that I played recently? GTA Online. Actually, I won't use GTA Online. That's a bad example. Let's go XCOM 2. Let's go XCOM 2. That one, you will have a massively different playthrough depending on how you go through the campaign.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
And the infinite variables in a game like that, because there are, I won't say infinite, but they're so high up there that they may as well be, will just render any sort of completion thing impossible.
I think
So-
XCOM's an interesting example in terms of the side quests because you'll get side quests that are only available to you for a certain amount of time, and by the sheer nature of the game, you cannot possibly do all of them. You actually have to choose
Yeah.
between some of them sometimes.
So at what point do you go, I am a completionist for XCOM 2, I've mastered XCOM 2? Is it just finishing up the campaign on the highest difficulty? Like, where do you...
For XCOM,
Sit it.
I think it's not. Well, I mean, this comes down to personal sort of standards, and
exactly.
I'll answer all the categories for me just to sort of go overall what I would consider completing a game to include for me. So side quests, I would usually consider side quests to be included if they have anything to do with the main story of the game. So if there's a narrative element to the side quests, then yes, I would complete all of them to complete a game. So in terms of Fallout 4, unfortunately, my standard for that game that I'll impose on myself is probably going to be completing all the side quests. So that's going to take me a while. Achievements are a hard no for me. I don't think completing all the achievements is necessary to complete a game for me. Collectibles, no, because some games just have stupid, inane cosmetic ones that don't really mean anything. They're
And
just
pets.
chucked in. Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't really bother me. Full exploration, usually I would want to do a full exploration to complete a game. There can be some exceptions to that where, you know, one exception to full exploration is if you only have a limited opportunity to explore an area, and if you don't take that opportunity when you do, and the only way to get back to it would be to start the game over and do it again, then I'm usually not too fussed about that. And Ori and the Blind Forest is a good example of that, where you sort of get past a point in that game where you literally can't go back. So I'm not going to go and play the whole game again just to, you know, get to a couple of missed areas that I didn't get to, which didn't really add a lot to the story or anything like that. I'm not
Here's
fussed
a question,
about that.
Luke.
Yeah.
You said collectibles you don't care about, but exploration you care about.
Yep.
What's the distinction there? Because exploration, you said collectibles, they might just have some random aesthetic things, but exploration, they, again, might just go, here's a cool panoramic view.
Because I think there's a lot more to experience when it comes to exploration of a game, particularly areas that you as a character will traverse. And I mean, that's a general kind of theme. Not every game you play has areas that you explore as a character, like physical areas. But I think that the sort of narrative experience of a game isn't just what has been programmed or written into it by the game developers. I think it's often how you experience the world in terms of your exploration, whereas collectibles to me aren't on the same level. Like, they're kind of things that you have, and sometimes you will use them to interact with the world, but I don't think they're necessary to interact with the world all the time. There are going to be some collectibles
they're usually connected, though. The collectibles are usually a reward for the exploration.
I mean, it's
Exactly,
probably going to fall under the depends on the game category. So
that would be my answer.
So what
too.
you're saying is this entire topic is completely subjective.
But there are similar themes that exist in a lot of games. So,
Yes.
I mean, absolutely, it's subjective. I mean, we're talking about standards that we self-impose at the end of the day. Like, the difficulty and game settings one is one that has never affected me before. Like, I will consider a game complete if I've played it on the default game setting, but I never feel like I have to go to the hardest level to complete it.
I think you find, Luke, XCOM, you want to go up to commander level just to see what I have to go
Actually,
through.
I will put a caveat on that. There is one exception. If playing the game on the highest difficulty setting unlocks additional content in form of
like
story,
cutscenes and stuff.
then I do consider that to be necessary to
You're
complete
going
a
to
game.
love Halo.
Oh, really? It's one of those,
Yep.
is it? God damn it. Yeah. But I'll give a really, really good example of a game that I thought was extremely tough to complete, but included a lot of this stuff in order to sort of unlock all of the story and sort of cutscenes and stuff, and that was Batman Arkham Knight. So Batman Arkham Knight, you actually need to 100% the game in terms of all of the side quests and collectibles to actually get the full final cutscene for the game. And if you don't get the entire cinematic. So that game I did 100% complete. I spent the time and went around and I got everything. But I wouldn't normally do that unless there was something significant on the line, like being able to see the entire ending, which I consider pretty important.
Here's another devil advocate, if you will, for that. Given that you're only... And you said that yourself that there's a bit of a grind with some of the elements in that game.
Yep.
And that's not an unreasonable thing to say. Some elements in those games by nature are grindy. Why would you, if you find it grindy, i.e.
Can I predict what you're going to ask?
Yes.
Why would I go through doing all that instead of watching the ending on a YouTube video?
Correct.
Yeah.
Satisfaction.
I think that comes into it. Like, I could definitely go and hop on and watch the video clip, but there'd always be a niggling doubt in the back of my mind that I've missed some of the experience by just watching the video. Like, I don't think it's always just captured in a video. Sometimes it's the stuff that you see as you're doing it all. And I guess in the case of the Batman games, one sort of justification I'd make is the Riddler quests. Like, some of them are really grindy, but some of them are just insanely clever uses of the game mechanics to set up these cool sort of riddle challenges that I feel like, even though they can be hard and they can be frustrating and there's a lot of them, going through and experiencing all of them is just really fun in terms of seeing some amazing stuff. So I kind of feel like I've missed out if I don't do them all, if that makes sense. So it's not just about the destination, it's also about the journey.
Oh, very philosophical of you.
That's right. Yeah. So what about you ladies? What would you consider to be in and out when it comes to your completion standards, if you have completion standards?
Shut up, Luke.
Should I take this one, or did you want to say?
Yeah,
Imogen?
Jamie, you can take it. That's fine.
Well, I think it would vary for me game to game. And I think it's actually hobbled me to a degree because games with an excellent story component and a wonderful environment, I know I'm going to want to spend so much time exploring and looking for everything that if something else pops up, I'll think, I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to go play this, and I'll come back to it when I've got the time. And now I find I've got this little pile of games like Witcher 3, Far Cry 4, Fallout 4 that are crying for my attention and that I thoroughly enjoy already, even though I haven't spent a lot of time in them, that I'm just not getting back to because I'm more and more time poor. And I think the completionist thing might be causing problems in that degree because knowing that I want to go to that degree within the game means I'm not actually enjoying the game. I'm putting it aside for later. It's a bit worrying because I want to do the the whole main mission. I want to do all of the side quests I can find. Collectibles, maybe, maybe not. It depends. In Far Cry, probably. I'll probably want to go and find every single little thing. Difficulty, not so much. It's only very special games that I'll tend to do another playthrough on a higher difficulty. But yeah, it's not always a good thing or a bad thing. I want to enjoy every game to its fullest, but so much choice, so much to do. It's tricky.
Yeah. So I guess, Imogen, what stuff would you be enticed on that list to actually, consider completing a game, given that it's not your normal habit to?
Costumes?
Well, the opposite of what you consider not.
Oh, really?
So I'm a big achievement person. So if I ever get stuck feeling like I'm sort of at a point in the game where I'm going to disengage or I'm not enjoying it anymore, then I will have a look at what the achievements are and try and chase a couple of those. And World of Warcraft is a prime example of that. I once spent an entire evening chasing, achievements with a group of people, and we had a great time. It's like little goals, and if I can set myself little goals, then I'm fine, and it's much more enjoyable for me. I get collectibles, but I don't really need to have them. Not really interested. It's nice to have, pets in games, or outfits and stuff like that in GTA, I guess, could be considered collectibles. And other than that, full exploration for me is another thing. Like, if a game sort of allows you to go and look at different things, then I will take full chance to go and see those things. And it's probably in Ori why it's taking me quite a while to do things, because I am going back in the map and just even if, just making sure I get that little bit of extra bit and sort of marked in my head that there's bits I have to go back to. So achievements are next full exploration for me.
So you like to feel progress. You like to feel like you're actually getting somewhere, is what it sounds like.
And if I get stuck doing something, then usually there's something. I mean, side quests, I guess, are a thing that I end up getting distracted by more than story quest. But again, it's subjective. So in Skyrim, I zoomed right through a lot of the story quest and didn't really do any side quests, whereas in World of Warcraft, I found myself doing mostly side quests.
Yeah.
and hit level cap doing that rather than actually following, a lot of the story mission and that later sort of garrison stuff that came with the most recent expansion.
Oh, yeah.
But, achievements are big for me. So even Steam achievements are great. Having my Xbox now is great. I love when I get the little badook and it comes across the screen. I haven't quite figured out how to search. I know how to do it on Steam, obviously, but I search on the Xbox so you can see like a full list of achievements, so I can see which ones I'm missing and that kind of thing. But
it's interesting that you say you like achievements, but you're not that big on collectibles, because I often sort of see achievements as intangible collectibles. Like they sort of hit
some are and some aren't.
Thing.
Like, I mean, again, the ones that I know best are World of Warcraft, because I have a problem, but they vary. So they have exploration achievements. They have doing random things like hitting 40 turkeys in a minute or whatever. The ridiculous ones like the Leroy Jenkins ones. There's just having a full set of armor at a certain spec. So there's lots of different achievements there. So it's not necessarily always collectibles. And achievements, I mean, on the Xbox, I think their system is great, because that whole idea of gamer score, you could get a 1,000 or whatever top gamer score, full gamer score for a game, and not necessarily have done everything, but have got all the achievements. But yeah, a lot of them do have that difficulty setting, and it's not for me. It's the same. I mean, if we compare it back to books, so I do finish reading everything that I do, but I very rarely will reread books, and so I'm the same for games. I very rarely will replay something, if not ever, that I've already played. So difficulty, not interested.
Have any of you ever been tempted to attempt a speed run of a game?
No.
Not really keen to complete it in that sort of way. Not a box that you need to tick.
A lot of modern games, and I'll use the Fallout games for example, the speedruns involve game glitches. And so if you watch the speedruns, you're not playing a game at that point. You're just exploiting the architecture.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And look, that's fair, that's fine if that's their thing. Not going to diss them on that, but that is what it is. Some speedruns, though, are actual... You are playing the game as the game itself and doing it as quickly as physically possible.
Yep.
And look, at that point, if that's how you enjoy that game, then fair. I personally will never do a speedrun.
Yep. That's fair. I would almost consider that in the same category as like setting yourself a artificial higher difficulty setting for completing a game.
It essentially is, yeah.
Yeah. What about DLC? So often games have stuff added to them after release, and when it's story content, particularly, it's often added to the end of the the existing story in the game. So by its nature, you probably couldn't engage in a lot of that DLC unless you've actually finished the game to begin with. Now there are some exceptions to that. I think a recent exception I can think of, Jam might correct me if I'm wrong, was Dragon Age Inquisition. The DLC for that you could actually play partway through the main story. Yep. Yeah. But, I mean, would DLC sort of be something that would urge you to complete a game or force you to come back to a game that you might have completed? How does that factor into your decisions?
I would for story-driven games. Mass Effect's prime example. I have picked the game back up again when DLC has been released to play through it. But I'm not always a huge DLC fan. Usually once I've decided I've finished a game, I won't revisit for a while, and not just for a little bit of extra content. It has to be substantial, and it has to further my appreciation of the story or, reveal something new, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't go back for horse armor, but you would go back for the new
I'd go back for horse
chunky
armor.
dragon
Closure on a character's story arc, with some unresolved conflict
Mass
or
Effect,
something
what?
like that. Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've got a bunch of DLC that I really want to go back and play because I feel like I haven't finished games that I otherwise finished as a result of that. Like some ones off the top of my head, I haven't played through the Last of Us DLC, which I'm really disappointed in because I know that it's really good. There's a whole bunch of Arkham Knight stuff out which I haven't touched yet, which I really want to because I know that some of it at least is decent. Things like the Fallout 4 DLC, I really don't give a crap about until I'm anywhere near finishing that game. So, and by the time that I am, I'll probably be ready to take a break from it for a while as well. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, I guess there's a bunch of reasons why we might want to, complete or not complete a game. I mean, Imogen, it certainly sounds like a lot of the things that stop you from wanting to finish games are when you just get distracted by something else, or if you reach the point where you feel like you're not having as much fun as you otherwise would be by playing something else. Would that be fair? Yeah. What about you guys, Ollie and Jam? What would actually stop you from wanting to finish a game besides the fact that it's a bad game?
If it's a crap game.
Yeah.
No, that's basically it. If I'm not enjoying the game, if it becomes a chore, I don't want to play it because I play games for fun, not for...
Yeah, exactly.
Do you manage that by stopping playing the game, or do you manage that by just taking a break and playing something else and coming back to it?
Depends. If it's, say, I'm just hitting a wall in like a multiplayer aspect of things because I'm just getting owned by the same trick over and over again, I'll take a break and, come back fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed the next day. And if I get kicked again, then I'll just leave.
Yeah.
If it's just bad mechanics, average by the numbers story, or just something's broken horribly in the game, then I'll just go, yeah, we're done here.
Yeah.
And I very rarely had to do that, but that's because I am a really snarky, choosy bastard when it comes to games.
You do your research.
Yeah, basically. And I never, apart from like certain games that I'm super keen and excited for, I very rarely buy a game like just that I've never heard of straight off the bat, especially when it comes to PC. So I hopefully avoid the game breaking stuff in that regards, but
yeah. That's fair. Jam, what stops you?
Yeah, similar. It has to be a bad game, or an average game, and a better prospect comes along.
that's fair. I've got to mention that
I
one.
want to finish most games that I start. I really do. Some just get left behind because they don't rate compared to others. I've got so many unfinished at the moment, and Division's going to come out soon, and I'm just going to lose so much time to that. It's just, balancing. I'm time poor.
Yeah.
Even though I'm honestly not. There's still not enough time for me to play. Okay, so we have to somehow make a shitload of money from this so that I can get paid to game full time.
Secret
That's
strategy.
my solution.
Time to get that Twitch stream going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one wants to
Because
watch us play
That
games.
would be ideal.
It's a deal. We need to make a pact. Let's do this. Yeah. Well, I'm
So,
actually.
Ollie,
I'll go get the Satan circle ready.
I kind of go to a different level with this where, like, it's not so much what stops me from completing games. The factor is more what stops me from starting games. Like, I will not start games when I've got games that I've not completed that I wanted to get done before I start something new. So
that used to be my rule.
Yeah, or like, I literally have my copy of The Witcher 3 sitting on my desk here, which I've not cracked the seal on because I'm just like, I do not
Sitting
want to
next
start
to your
this game.
Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing nothing.
I do not want to start this game until I finish a few things so that I know I can invest the required time in it to enjoy it properly. So, and there are a few things on my plate which I want to go back and finish, which I know aren't going to be massive time sinks, but I still feel like I need to tick the box. Yeah, Undertale, great example. The Witness, that's what I'm going to play this week.
Told you.
I'm going to try and finish The Witness
Olly
this
called
week as well. Yeah. No, Ollie called that I wouldn't finish it. I
This
said
year.
I would.
You're not going to finish it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because I won't be able to
multiple times
start.
now.
I won't be able to start a new game until I do. As simple as that.
And we'll be there going, we're playing Division, Luke. You should come play Division.
Honestly, that's actually one of the key reasons why I didn't jump into the beta, because I was like, no, I want to finish XCOM. So
That's fair. Especially
It's a
if you've
fun
decided that you're going to buy it already.
yeah, well, I'm still not 100% on whether I'm going to buy it already, and that's mostly due to the opportunity
You're going to
cost.
buy it.
Yeah, well,
You're going to buy it because we're going to be playing it
if
and
you're all
having
playing
so
it, then
much
I
fun.
probably will. Yeah, because I can't pass up the opportunity to put a shotgun to someone's
Shit.
head.
I'm not. Gibbs not Luke's team.
Well, now I'm going to have to find something else to play while you all play that.
Nice. All right, well, cool. I think we all learnt a little bit more about each other tonight,
No.
didn't we?
I already knew that you
Are
were
you still
weird
talking?
about
Jesus,
completing
sorry.
games. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, anyway, probably a good place to wrap it up. So if you have any comments on completionist strategies or what you consider yourself to be on in terms of the completionist spectrum, let us know. You can drop us an email at mail@partyloaded.com. Hit us up on our Facebook page for a bit of discussion post-episode there, so facebook.com/partyloaded. We're also on Twitter @partyloadedshow, and jump in and check us out on our Steam group as well. So just do a search for Party Loaded, and you can hop on there and basically see what we've been playing. And I'm actually going to start putting up a few comments around stuff that we've been playing. You know, I won't write full-blown game reviews, but just a few thoughts around stuff. Yeah.
You can take a look at how little Luke cares about achievements in his Steam games. And also just realize as well, you are such a completionist to the point where you are not satisfied with completing a game once, and that's why you created that second Hearthstone account, isn't it?
No, it's not.
You just wanted to complete it multiple times.
Well, it's funny. You know what I would consider the completionist sort of goal for Hearthstone would be owning every single
Legendary.
card ×2 and hitting legendary. Yep, that would be
Every single card ×2. Oh, okay.
Except for
not as
legendaries.
in both of the accounts. Okay, I'm with you.
No. I mean, as
Crazy
in because
person.
you need 2 of every card if you want to,
Yeah,
play it in decks. So yeah, that would be it. Like if I hit that, I'd be like, yep, cool, I'm good, and I'll probably take a break until the next expansion.
No, then you start playing on your second account.
Yeah, that's true. I'd probably
Yep.
do that too. Yeah. I'm never going to be done with Hearthstone. That's just the reality.
Nope.
All right, cool. Anyway, I'm going to hop off now and probably play a bit of Hearthstone on my second account.
Truly, these are the end times.
Well, until next week, see ya.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.